Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome you all in our today's online session. Hope you all are fine and having good health. We start today's session with the recitation of Holy Quran. So in previous session we was discussed about different types of power generation systems, and out of which we have been discussed the certain kind of thermal power plant generation, that how electricity being produced by these power plants. Number one was coal-based thermal power plant, which produce electricity by the fuel of coal that is imported by the European countries, Gulf countries, and other kind of uh, coal-supplied countries. Further, we use coal as a fuel in this system, and after the process of thermal power plant, the steam is run by a steam turbine, which is primarily coupled with generator and produce electricity at the end, which provide to the power system from the side. So I'm only touch and discuss the little bit of know-how about the previous session that we already discussed. So after coal-based thermal power plant, we was discussed about the gas-based power plant, that how electricity being produced by gas-based thermal power plant, in which a gas is used as a fuel and combust in a chamber with the compression of air, and then intake to the gas turbine, which primarily coupled with the gear generator to the synchronous generator, which produce electricity, and after the end a transformer is connected to step up the voltages and provide to the transmission line and provide to the national grid that particular electricity. This is the whole summary about of this topic, which we already discussed in our previous session. So after that, the third category of thermal power plant is oil-based power plant, and oil-based power plant are used as a fuel furnace oil, which is burned out, and by the heat of that burn conversion, steam is produced by the water of pipes, which can rotate the turbine, steam turbine, which is that particular steam we called superheated saturated steam, which we provide to the turbine, and that is coupled with the particular prime mover of generator, and after the end a transformer is step up that particular voltage is step down the current and further provide the supply to the transmission line tower to the national grid. That particular mechanism is followed in oil-based thermal power plant. So this is the whole story of oil-based thermal power plant, and how power is generated and provide to the supply of user and even also to the national grid. After that, we have already discussed the nuclear power plant, that how electricity is being generated by nuclear power plant, and this is the most essential aspect in which the power is being generated, and it is even also we can say a economical aspect which we need to install in many kind of our cities, areas, and other kind of circumstances that are produced in our most of the cities as well. If we talk about in Karachi, there are two types of nuclear power plant, not types. There are two name of units of nuclear power plant, that is Canap unit 1 and Unit 2. Karachi Nuclear Power Plant, that is short form in CANUP Unit 1 and Unit 2. So the containment structure is like you can see an, a nuclear reactor which consists of reactor wheel, control rods, and in atomic reactor, the fission chain reaction that is produced by the fused uranium cause to produce fission chain reaction, and to make it controllable in nuclear reactor we use particular this mechanism. Further, the water is can take by the condenser by the pump, which supply circulation by the pump continuously, and the particular water, that is D2O heavy water, vaporize in this section. The water is rotated by the pipes and continuously convert the liquid into steam of steams and steam of vapors. Continuously, it is converting from liquid to steam, and after the conversion of steam, we need to convert into pressurized superheated saturated steam, because at this instant we need a high pressurized supersaturated moisture free steam, which we need to convert into further stages. So that's a particular reason we need to convert the simple kind of steam into supersaturated moisture free steam. If till now, if you have any kind of question regarding today's session in previous, you can also ask to interrupting me at any kind of stage instant. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries if you have in your mind. So after the intake of steam in steam turbine, the prime mover is linked to the generator and turbine in this way, which you can see a coupler, which can rotate and move to the turbine of generator and rotate continuously and link and supply to the transmission line of tower, and which is provided to the city and you can say a national grid. So this is the whole scenario of nuclear power plant. But one thing is missing here: after the generator and before the tower, we need to install a transformer which can step up the kind of voltages into several kind of kilovolts instead of simple 11 kV. So this is the whole scenario which we covered in nuclear power plant, that how electricity is being generated in this particular power plant. Up till now, any one of you if have any kind of question or query, please ask. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries if you have in your mind. Or if you not have a kind of question, so we moving towards further. Next slide, which is the hydroelectric power plant, and it is also essential, economical, and you can say environmental friendly power generation system, which we call hydroelectric power plant, which you can also set it's a dam based power generation electric power plant which produce electricity in most economical and less polluted power generation aspect. So if we talk about the hydroelectric power plant, first we need to categorize into three sections or four sections. First we need a reservoir. First we need a reservoir which it's like a storage of tank. But hydroelectric power plant can also be installed there where we have the run of the river flow of water. Run of the river flow of water. We can also install the particular system of flow of water. So the second category is we can install the particular hydroelectric power plant at रन ऑफ द रिवर, बहते हुए दरिया की डायरेक्शन में इसे लगाया जा सकता है, आपको उसके लिए रिजर्वायर की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. बट इफ़ वी वांट टू इंस्टॉल एंड कलेक्ट द वाटर लाइक इन अ रिजर्वायर मीन्स एक डैम के अंदर आप पानी स्टोर कर लें और उसे आप हासिल इस तरीके से करें पिन स्टॉक के ज़रिए से, तो ये भी एक एस्पेक्ट है. इससे आप कई साल का पानी भी इकट्ठा करके पूरे साल बिजली बना सकते हैं इस तरीके से. So water intake can be extracted from the site. This is the trash rack, which can control the pressure of water and also control the back pressure of water, which is the trash rack part of the concrete based part in the hydroelectric foundation. After that, the water is flow from this side. This is the dam area, and after this is the slope we called a pen slope, which is moving from the side to throw by the turbine and rotate the turbine by pressure relief. This particular turbine we called a Francis turbine, which is mostly used in the hydroelectric power plant, and we can also install this, and we called it a hydroelectric power turbine, particularly named as Princess turbine. So it is a kind of turbine which can take the pressure of water and rotate the particular direction, which convert mechanical energy to electrical energy, and that particular electrical energy is converted with the coupling of generator. Generator can provide supply to the transformer, which step up the voltage and provide that particular electricity to the transmission line to the national grid. So this section is also available there to control the pressure of water from this particular pedal shape of a pedal concrete shape, in which the pressure of water can be controlled by this side. So at the end, the remaining water from which is strike from the surface of turbine can flow from this side, and water discharge traction can moving the remaining water to further another cyclic process of water irrigation system, another kind of way by which your particular sea, river, Indus River can be control the flow of water and maintain the level of water by this way. So this is the all over about the hydroelectric power plant, that how electricity is being produced and how electricity is utilized by hydroelectric power plant. It is most economical aspect of power generation and polluted free electricity generation solution in the field of electrical power generation system. So moving towards the next aspect of power generation, which is the wind power plant, we also have been discussed the particular this slide in our previous session. This is the recall aspect, that how electricity is being produced by wind power plant. We know that if we need to install a particular power plant of wind power generation, first we need to discover the wind channel. If the wind channel is not available out there, which you want to install a wind turbine out there, so it's not a feasible solution to install a wind turbine in particular area. So first you need to rectify, clarify, and identify the area at which continuously wind speed is going through from that particular area. And in Sindh we have a Jambir part where the continuous 24 hours 7 days in a week a continuous wind is available there, which you can say it's a wind channel area. So where you need to install wind power plant, and there are other IPPs like Gul Ahmad Artistic Power Plant, and other kinds of IPPs are installed their power generation systems of 500 kilowatt, 250 kilowatt, 300 kilowatt, which can produce electricity by wind power generation systems plants. And this is a single particular entity of wind power generation in which a single turbine of wind is installed there. Now talk about the pressure of wind, which mechanically rotate the rotor blade, and which is couple the gearbox of shaft, and gearbox of shaft is coupled with the end of induction generator, which produce DC into AC. Particularly induction generator, at the end side of induction generator we got AC current of signal, which we provide to the transformer, and transformer further step up the particular kind of voltage and provide to the switch yard of power supply of the national grid. The remaining part of the wind power wind power generation are gearbox. Nacelle is like a body. This shape is called a nacelle. This is the induction generator, the complete name, and this one we called a cable, power cable, which is going inside from the tower, and the foundation on which the nacelle and this rotor blade are linked are called a tower. This is all about the wind power generation of power plant and how wind is can cause to produce electricity by the pressure of wind and mechanical energy how convert to the electrical energy. So this is all about the wind power generation and how electricity is being produced by this mechanism. So hopefully the things have been clear in mind that how wind power is generated by this mechanism. Now, this is our today's fresh topic that is we called a geothermal power plant. Can anybody of you can tell me that how power have been generated from geothermal power plant? If you have any kind of idea, little bit of idea, please share with me. I will again then continue from your part. If you have the kind of idea, you may discuss with me. Okay, up till now, if you have any kind of question or query regarding today's session, please feel free to ask. I will answer all kind of question if you have in your mind and resolve your queries. If you have no kind of question on query, so we start and continue today's session with geothermal power generation. That how power is being produced by geothermal mechanism. Geothermal, the mechanism reflect by its name, the geothermal. Geo means the geometrical shape of earth, and thermal means earth heat. That how geometrical earth shape of heat is extract from the hot water and that convert into that steam, and particular hot water which provide the steam to rotate turbine and then coupled with the generator produce electricity after transformer we provide to the national grid. So this is the summary of geothermal power plant, which we need to discuss in detail. So first we need to find a hot water dig out part inside of the earth to extract the hot water from the inside surface of earth. Extract the particular water to convert into steam. That particular steam we need to use as super saturated moisture free steam, which we need to get and extract provide to the turbine section, which is the third part. First is extracting the hot water and then convert the particular hot water into steam, super saturated moisture free steam, and then provide to the turbine which rotate by the super saturated moisture free steam, and couple with the prime mover of generator which move or rotate with the turbine of shaft, and then provide the particular generator to the transformer. Transformer step up the particular voltages into a certain kind of level of voltage which is we provide to the tower or transmission line to the national grid. So this is all about the process of geothermal power generation. But what about its cyclic process? The cyclic process is that the remaining part of moisture moisture part or the hot water which collect from the steam, we further extract the water from inside of the wind turbine surface and provide that hot water to the cooling tower. Cooling tower extract the particular hot water and provide to the injected well another side of the surface of earth to maintain the water level on the earth. So this cyclic process is continuously the hot water convert to the cool water and then hot water again extract from the cyclic process can repeat again and again, and the maintenance and the maintainability of water level can be maintained here. And after the level of water maintained at the surface, we can say the cyclic process of geothermal power plant is extract and can be done. Okay, I think तला साहब हैं. तला साहब आप इसमें तला आलम साहब हैं. आप ये निशान लगा रहे हैं इसमें ना, तो आपका नाम भी नज़र आ रहा है मोहम्मद तलहा आलम साहब, तो इसको मिटाएं। तलहा आलम साहब, आपको आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी? जी तलहा आलम साहब, तलहा आलम साहब, ये जो निशान आपने लगाए हैं स्क्रीन पे, इसको मिटाएं। Okay, ji. Further, we're moving towards the next aspect of the geothermal power. After geothermal power generation, that how electricity being produced by geothermal power plant, and moving towards the next aspect of our system. That is the parabolic trough solar power plant. That how electricity being produced by the system. Uh, this is also an essential aspect of power generation, that how power is being produced by the system, and it is not a common way of electricity generation, power generation, but it's a way to produce electricity. So we discuss this thing. So it is consists of 3 to 4 parts which produce electricity by solar thermal technology. These are the mirrors, which is in curved shape, which is placed at the side, and these towers are we called heat exchangers. Heat exchangers. They can extract the particular heat which collect from these mirrors at this surface of pipe, and the heat convert the particular exchanger, the heat exchanger to the water which is flow from the side, and heat is produced which is flow from the steam is produced by the water and rotate the steam turbine, and further the generator is rotate by the turbine, and at the end the transformer step up the voltage will provide to the transmission line. So we need to discuss it in detail in the sections. So tube with fluid that absorb heat. These are the tubes which fill with the fluid which absorb as an absorption of heat. Heat is absorbed by these tubes and further provide to this heat exchanger chamber. So heat exchanger chamber extract the particular heat in this section and further provide to the section number 2, which is the water, which is flow from in these pipes, circulatory in this aspect in this section. So at, at the end, when the water is flow from this side and the heat exchanger pipe is flow from this side, the heat and water are making a steam. Steam which enter in this turbine, we need supersaturated pressurized and moisture free heat of steam which rotate turbine, which is coupled with the generator, and generator further convert the mechanical energy to electrical energy. After that, the transformer which is missing here, which is transformer is connected at this instant, which step up the particular voltage and provide to the transmission line of tower, which is linked with the national grid. This is whole scenario is all about the parabolic Trough solar power plant power generation systems. So this is one of the essential aspect of power generation technique, that how power is being produced by this aspect. So if you have any kind of question or query regarding in this session, please feel free to discuss. I will resolve your queries and answer the kind of question if you have in your mind. If you have the kind of question, please feel free to discuss. Otherwise, I continue with the next slide. So moving towards the next aspect of power generation system, that is the solar dish power plant, but how power is produced by the system. So solar dish power plant is are the system which sun provide its radiance to the D-shaped dish surfaces. That dish surfaces extract the particular heat and concentrate it into a single point, concentrator, which we call. So power conversion unit which is stored there, which extract the particular heat light from the sun irradiance into different kind of single units, extract the particular heat and irradiance and collect into the concentrator point, which can convert that heat into electrical energy, power conversion unit, this one. And then further we provide to the transformer, which step up the voltages and provide to the tower of national grid, which provide electricity to the system, which we all know about the scenario. So if you have any kind of question regarding solar dish power plant, that how electricity being produced by sun irradiance and how it collect on by the concentrator and conversion of power and provide to the supply of electricity to the national grid. If you have a kind of question and have the kind of query, please feel free to discuss. I will answer the kind of question, resolve your queries if you have in your mind up till now in today's session. I'm available to answer the kind of question if you have in your mind. कोई भी सवाल अगर आपके जहन में हो तो पूछ लीजिए, मैं जवाब दे दूंगा, नहीं तो हम यहाँ से आगे चलते हैं. Okay जी. Further, most economical, essential and popular power generation system is solar photovoltaic panel power generation system. But how power is produced by solar generation system? So it is all know about it, based on the six scenario of stages. First, we need to install a solar photovoltaic panel of array on a roof of surface of a house. So we all know about this thing that sun irradiance strike on the solar panel photovoltaic cell, and solar cell convert that particular sun irradiance of heat energy into electrical energy in the form of DC current. And particularly this supply of current we provide to the charge controller, charge controller, which can extract the particular voltages and convert into a particular DC level of voltage and provide to the supply store in the battery. And further battery is used to utilize a kind of voltage which we call a DC utilization of load. So a fuse box, we can say a supply box which provides supply to the lamp and uh, a particular kind of LEDs, fans, water motor and refrigerator and other kind of DC loads which we need to utilize by this battery. Further, if we have excess amount of electricity that we have been produced by solar panel in the large amount of electricity, instead of that excess amount to by the utilization of user, and excess amount we can also be sell out by the bidirectional meter to the grid utility. This is the another mechanism. We already discussed a lecture about the net metering system and how electricity being sell out to the grid. All the scenarios, policies and action of plan we already been discussed in our previous session of lectures, which you can see in my previous lecture, which already shared with you guys in our WhatsApp group, today's WhatsApp group. So in this system we have discussed about how electricity being produced by solar panels and how it sell out to the utility grid, how that particular electricity which is generated by photovoltaic panels is being utilized by the user of DC and particularly AC load. Uh, as an example, if we need to utilize the AC load, but we have a battery, so we need a converter which convert particular DC into AC. So for conversion of DC into AC, we need to use a converter which we call inverter. Inverter is a particular kind of supply which convert the DC current into AC current, and then we can utilize our AC level of loads. So this is the way that how AC load and DC load being entertained by our this system. So up till now, any one of you, if have any kind of question or query regarding in today's session of this lecture, please feel free to discuss. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries if you have in your mind. If you have any kind of question, please feel free to discuss. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries if you have in your mind. So this one is our last slide of today's session, and hopefully you learn a lot of things in this lecture. So there are categorically 7 to 10 number of processes by which we produce electricity. There are a lot and many of the other cyclic processes which also been used to produce electricity instead of this system. So first we discussed the coal-based thermal power plant, and then we have discussed gas-based power plant, and then oil-based oil furnace oil-based thermal power plants, nuclear power plant system, that how electricity being produced by nuclear power plants, and then we discussed the hydroelectric power plant by dam, how electricity being produced, and then we discussed the wind power plant, that how electricity being produced by wind power plants, and then we discussed the geothermal power plant, how we utilize the heat or steam of earth to produce electricity and provide to the national grid. The mechanism we discuss in our today's session. Then the parabolic trough solar power plant we discuss in our today's session, and then the solar dish power plant we discuss in our today's session further. And then in last we have discussed the solar PV panel power plant system which produce electricity. So if you have any kind of question till now, please feel free to ask if you have any kind of question. And if you have any kind of query, please feel free to discuss. I will answer the kind of question. So it's all about today's session. So we will discuss. So we will discuss further our lectures in next Thursday. Hope you learn a lot of things in today's session. So Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.